Gervonta Davis trainer says Ryan Garcia will run through a minefield this Saturday night. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So Gervonta Tank Davis trainer Calvin Ford recently gave an interview and he spoke about his feelings of how the Ryan Garcia Tank fight will turn out. We are only 3 days away, 2 days away from the big fight, and a lot of people are anticipating, a lot of people are looking forward to this. I'm not sure how the fight will sell. I'm guessing around 500,000, but I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this fight, whether it sells well or not. People are going to watch this fight, but let's break down a little bit of what Calvin Ford had to say about the matchup and just give my 2 cents on how I feel about what he said. So he said that Ryan Garcia is going to be running through a minefield, and he feels like eventually one of those mines will explode and catch Garcia off guard. What does he mean by that? Well, we all know Ryan is a speed fighter, and he's going to try to overwhelm Gervonta Davis with a lot of combinations, coming at him probably the whole fight, just throwing random wild punches. But he does have one really good punch, which is his left hook. And if he lands that left hook, he could possibly put Gervonta to sleep. But he's going to have to hit Gervonta to actually put him to sleep. And what Calvin Ford means by a minefield, you really don't see a mine. A mine gets you because you didn't see it, basically. And that's what Gervonta is. He's a mine. He hits you with punches that you don't see coming. And he basically sets you up and lets you come to him, and the mine explodes. That's basically what a mine does. You go to the mine explodes, and you're out of here. So that's basically what Calvin Ford means. He means that the poise of Gervonta Davis is going to allow him to wait for Ryan Garcia to throw that one shot, and Gervonta Davis is going to counter that, and it's going to be an explosion of a shot when it finally lands, and it's probably going to knock Ryan Garcia the F out. Now, does Ryan have any shot in this fight? I mean, it's going to take something drastic for Ryan Garcia to win this fight, in my mind. And when I say drastic, I mean drastic. Gervonta Davis is going to have to fall down and break his ankle. Or going to have to slip and fall on a wet spot and bump his head on the ring post. It's going to take something truly dramatic for him to lose this fight.
But you got to know what you're fighting for. You have an obligation as a man to make some bread so you can support your family. You have to figure out what you love so you can focus on making some bread for yourself. But if you don't know what you're fighting for, you have no reason to live if you have nothing to love or nothing to fight for.
Nah, just playing, man. I don't think it's got to be that dramatic. I think that Ryan has skills, and Ryan possesses good ring IQ and ring generalship, but the problem for Ryan Garcia could be that he just doesn't have the experience within big fights.
Listen, no more handouts. No more handouts.
It's one thing to be in a decent fight versus a guy you're going to beat. It's another thing to be in front of, thousands amongst thousands of people, millions amongst millions of people watching you at home. Those nerves, those big fight nerves, those big fight jitters. And the fact that he's never been across from somebody as talented as Gervonta Tank Davis. I think it's all going to culminate on Saturday night. It's going to play a role on Saturday night. And you're going to see a new version of Ryan Garcia, but you're also going to see Gervonta Davis do what he's always done, which is win big fights. I think it's just an inevitability. I don't think Ryan has the experience versus A-level talent to even be challenging Gervonta Tank Davis. To me, it should be Ryan versus Shakur Stevens. That should be one of the biggest fights at 135, and then the winner gets, Gervonta, and then the winner of that gets Devin. But that's, that would be tournament style boxing, and that's just not how boxing, professional boxing is run, unfortunately. But that would be a good matchup. Shakur versus Ryan would be the two young superstars squaring off to see who deserves to fight the winner of the two biggest superstars at 135, which would be Gervonta and Devin. And a lot of people feel like Gervonta is actually more popular and a better fighter than Devin. A lot of people feel like Devin's fight with George Kambosos was very boring, and he didn't look good at the weight, and he didn't carry the weight very well, and he didn't overwhelm George. He just kind of beat him up for 12 rounds. So, it could go either way. I think at the end of the day, if Gervonta and Devin were to fight first, I think Gervonta would most likely beat Devin, and then I actually think Ryan would lose to Shakur, and then it would actually be Shakur versus Gervonta for all the marbles. But I don't think it's going to really play out like that now. I think Gervonta is going to beat Ryan, of course. Shakur, I don't think is going to get to fight any of those elite fighters. I don't think he's going to get to fight the Ryans, the Gervontas, and the Devins. I think what's going to end up happening, once again, that Gervonta is going to beat Ryan, Devin's going to beat Loma, Gervonta is going to beat Devin, and then Shakur most likely fight Loma sometime at the end of this year or next year. And we're just never going to see Shakur versus Gervonta or Devin, because Devin will most likely have lost to Gervonta by then and moved up to 140, and Gervonta will most likely move to 140 himself and fight Josh Taylor for, a big bag of money. I know a lot of people think Gervonta is going to stick around 135 forever, but there's not enough big fights at 135 for Gervonta to stick around. The last big fight that'll be there to make is Shakur Stevens, and I don't think Shakur's at the point to where he needs to be matching up with Devin or Gervonta yet. I think he needs at least 1 year at 135. 2 fights, 1 or 2 fights at one. He's already had one, but he needs a credible name at 135 before he jumps in. Because if Shakur takes a loss at this point in his career, it's not going to bode well for his future. So, he would be better off letting, Gervonta fight Devin, let Devin leave the division, let Gervonta relinquish all the titles and move up to fight Josh Taylor for all the titles, and then he can become the beneficiary of picking up all the 135 titles, and most likely fight, a young gun, hopefully win, and then he'll move up to 140 and campaign at 140, and perhaps those fights can happen at 140. I don't see them happening at 135. I think Gervonta Shakur or Devin Shakur will most likely happen at 140 and not 135. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are
fucking with me. Now I was high when I made the song, so you gotta get high when they play the song. See them chicks get live and they shake their thongs. Young niggas run lines tryna take them home, and if a nigga hate mine, I'ma break his bone. See them whips outside on crazy chrome. Little mama, don't take me wrong, but my lap is where your face belong. I stay stuck like a 9 with the safety on. Flow hot like islands you take vacations on. OG, where you hatin'? You can get a few shots to your apron. Dog, I ain't got a lot of patience. When I see what I want, gotta take it. Right now I'm just looking at her shake it. Soon she get through, be shaking. OG, OG. Spot this click. You ain't fucking with me. It's Young Keys and I rep the field. And 100 years later I'ma rep it still. See, on the underground they respect the skills. So a nigga like me don't stress a deal when you gon' need a mouthpiece to protect your grill. Elbows get thrown at your head for real. Damn girl, why you trying to stop dancing when I walk up behind ya? Cause a nigga like me might grind ya, leave you alone for a minute, then grind you again to remind ya. Girl, you're fucking with a big timer, but I ain't baby, I man it though. Get paid, break bread with my family though.